In this video, you will learn the top 10 strategies you must know to get better at chess. Let's begin. The game started with e4, and my opponent replied with the Sicilian defense. Here, after knight to f3, a6 was played, which is known as the O'Kelly variation of the Sicilian defense, which aims to stop my bishop from coming here. Now I played g3, planning to put my bishop along this long diagonal. After d6, I played bishop g2, and then my opponent attacked my pawn on e4 with knight f6, which I promptly defended. Now this bishop is free to develop. After g6, I played the move a4, which brings us to the first strategy. Think of what your opponent's plan is. Have a look at this position. You need to ask yourself, why did my opponent play the move g6? Then you will realize, wait, my opponent is trying to play bishop to g7 in order to put pressure on my queen side. Black can also play moves like b5 and then push these pawns in order to pressurize my queen side. So what should I do? I should play a4 to prevent black from playing b5, because if black does so, pawn takes and this pawn cannot take back as the rook is pinned. After bishop to g7, I again ask myself, what does my opponent want? Well, this bishop wants to attack along this long diagonal, so I played the move c6, shutting off this bishop from attacking the b2 pawn. I could have castled before, but I did it on the next move, and so did my opponent. On the next move, I played knight to a3, which looks pretty unusual again. However, my plan is again simple, which brings us to the second strategy, which is, in the opening, you must develop on 90% of your moves. So we don't want to play um, unnecessary moves like h4 or queen to e1. All these moves do nothing for our position. Developing is much more important. My plan is to go to the c4 square. Now my opponent played e5, solidifying their control over the d4 square. My knight moved to the c4 square, from where it controlled many key squares in black's position. Now my opponent developed their bishop with bishop to e6, attacking my knight. I thought of letting my opponent take my knight, but then I realized after bishop takes and pawn takes, I have a poor pawn structure. And even though I have the bishop pair, my opponent can easily target my queen side. Therefore, I played knight to e3. My plan is unique. After queen e7, I played knight g5. The purpose is to trade my knight for my opponent's bishop. Here, my opponent made a huge mistake. Bishop to h6. You might be thinking, maybe, why is this a mistake? Will there not be a simple trade? The answer is yes, but this brings us to the third strategy, which is, bishops are better than knights in most cases. In this position, black should not have allowed me to take their bishop and should have moved back, in which case I would have gone f5 and I would have tried to attack. However, bishop h6 gave me the opportunity to trade, and guess what? Now I have the bishop pair. Here I played knight to g4, which was not the best move, but I had a plan in mind. I noticed that, wait, I have less space. There's nothing I can do here, almost. My pieces are very congested. Maybe I can play f4, but then my opponent is really going to attack my pawn there, and this knight is placed very awkwardly, so my bishop cannot develop properly. Knight g4 intended to trade pieces. After this trade, my queen got activated, and after bishop takes, I took back with my rook on the a file. I didn't take back with the f rook because I wanted to play the move f4, which we will come to in a second. Now my opponent smartly played king h8, getting their king out of the line of my queen. Then f4 was played, which brings us to the fourth strategy: use pawn breaks. What will happen when you use pawn breaks? The reason you should do that is your pieces get more active and you have a higher probability of succeeding in your attack due to that activity of your pieces. After this trade, I felt like my pieces got a lot more active because this path is free. I can double up my rooks on the f file. If you use pawn breaks in your games, you will find that it's a lot more easier to find plans. Let's see what happened here. Rook a e8 was played. Now I was considering f5, which is another pawn break. However, I realized it might not be the best because after g takes, black can play rook g8, putting the rook along the g file where my king is standing. In this position, if queen h3 is played, queen g5, and black is the one who's going on the attack, and we are defending. This is not what we want. We want to be the ones attacking. Therefore, I played king to h1, getting my king off the g file. Rook f7, and I played rook f2, preparing to double my rooks. Then my opponent played knight to e5. I did not expect this, and it came as a slight shock. My opponent attacked this pawn, my queen, and I couldn't even take because my rook here is hanging. For a second, I was confused, but then I remembered the fifth strategy, which is chess is not a game of emotion, it's a thinking game. We need to approach chess with a calculative and strategic approach. I played queen g3 calmly, defending my rook and the pawn. Now the knight is actually hanging because my rook is defended. Rook f8, and then I defended my rook again. The knight is under pressure, and it had to move back as my rook is defended, right? Here, I considered the move f5. I thought about it for around 10 minutes because it's a critical point in the game. But then I settled with bishop h3 to target this weak pawn. Let's see what would have happened if f5 had been played out. So I saw f5, takes, and after all of these trades, I felt like I don't have any real advantage, right? Because black's knight can just go to either the e5 or the g6 square, and there's no way for me to actually win. If you play classical games, you will start seeing a lot more moves. You will start considering more variations, which will help you improve at chess. So you shouldn't be playing bullet all the time. Play more games with longer time controls. Since I didn't want this drawish position, I played bishop h3. After b5, queen to g4. This pawn on a4 is less important than this central black pawn on the e6 square. Rook f6. Now this pawn is securely defended. Here, I was stuck. Many of us get stuck in almost every chess game. Here's the solution. This brings us to strategy number 6, which is patience wins games. Here, I was trying to find moves like f5, which instantly force something on the board to happen. But that's not the right approach. Sometimes you have to take a step back to take two steps forward. Bishop g2 targets this long diagonal. After queen f7, stacking these three heavy pieces along the f file, I traded to simplify the position and then played king g1. My plan was simple: to defend this rook. I would play queen g3 and I would make plans from there. Now my opponent played knight to e7, preventing f5, queen g3, and here e5 was played, which changed the game completely. Until here, this position looks drawish. But after e5, I felt like I actually had an advantage. Here's why. After pawn takes, black took. After all of these trades, we reached this endgame with an equal amount of pawns and a bishop versus knight endgame. I felt like my king was a lot more active. The engine says this position is equal, but from a human perspective, it looks like this is better. King e3. This brings us to the seventh strategy, which is study more endgames so you feel confident. Many players who play just blitz or play shorter time controls are not very good at endgames. Here, even black brought his king forward, and I played d4. My purpose was to trade all the pawns in the center, and in the end, my king would end up in the center of the board from where I wanted to win this pawn. Captures, captures, and then king f6. This brings us to the eighth strategy, which is king activity in the endgame is absolutely crucial. Imagine my king was here. I would not have been in a good position, right? Because black's king is more developed and can threaten my pawns in the center, maybe, or threaten my king side. So I played bishop f1 here, targeting the weak pawn. b4 had to be played, and now I went for d5. My plan was to push the passed pawn. As Capablanca said, passed pawns must be pushed. After knight c8, we have arrived at the ninth strategy, which is look for weaknesses in your opponent's position. It could be a square, it could be the king side, let's say, it could be a piece, like this pawn right here, which is very hard to defend for black. King d3. After knight d6, I was trying to take this path to win the pawn, but then my pawn would be hanging. So I was patient. Bishop g2, king e7, and now h4. Since my opponent has a 2 on 1 here, black could have tried to push these pawns, but I played h4, making it slightly uncomfortable for black to push the pawns in the long run. It will take more time for them to do that. Here, my opponent made a huge mistake. This position, the engine says it's kind of drawish, but from a practical sense, I feel like white is still better due to this bishop over knight advantage and the weakness of the b pawn. Now my king got the chance to walk in. Black must have thought that this pawn has been blockaded, the passed pawn. However, there's another passed pawn. And I activated my king, kicked the knight out, and pushed. And pushed. Here, after king c7, I played bishop to h3. Again, I'm not hurrying, I'm not trying to push forcibly, I'm just optimizing the position of all of my pieces. I kept it simple with this trade, and then my king moved forward. Knight b3, my king went to the a file from where it can support the pawn for the promotion. After this check, I moved forward again. Moved forward again. Do you see how the activity of this king changed the game completely? Black can take the pawn because I promote. After this zugzwang move, bishop to f5, we are brought to the 10th strategy, which is clean conversion can only be achieved when you don't rush and stay calm. You need to convert your wins in the right way, and for that, you can't play impulsive moves. Now, after knight c3, the game is over because black cannot stop the pawn. I want you to play with longer time controls and I want you to apply these strategies and let me know how it goes for you in your game in the comments down below. Keep solving tactics consistently. Thanks for watching the video. Train to win. Bye.